Hi, it's Will from StormTheCastle.com, and here on YouTube, you know me as what? Epic Fantasy, that's right. And this is my latest tutorial. This is a foam board sword project, and it is Zar'roc from Eragon. That's right, fun project. All you need is one sheet of foam board to do this project. I give you the template with everything you need, including this dragon design. The big thing about this project is the jeweled hilt. That is plastic that I cast in an egg, and I show you how to do that. Really easy to do, easy cast. And if you don't want to cast your jewel in plastic like this, I give you in the template this. I give you this diamond shape pattern that you cut out and fold, and you can use that instead. Fun project. My thanks to a YouTube subscriber, Spaghetti and Stuff, for suggesting this project every day and being very patient about it. So thank you very much. Thanks for watching my channel. If you're a subscriber, hit that. Thank you for subscribing. If you're not a subscriber, hit that button. Always lots of fun and interesting projects. I do 2 new videos every week on all kinds of creative subjects. Leave me a comment or a thumbs up and give me a project suggestion, just like Spaghetti and Stuff did. So thank you very much. Let's launch into the introduction, and then let's do how to make Zar'roc from Eragon. Thank you. Dioramas, origami, catapults, and treasure stays, telescopes, terrariums, bonsai trees, and paper games, swords and shields, and real blacksmithing, model rockets, animation. I teach the art of real creation. StormTheCastle.com. Let's make something. Okay, the first thing you do is print up that template. The link is in the description of this video down below. And I give you everything in the template, and then cut out the various pieces. Now the first thing we're going to do is assemble the sword template, and that's 5 pieces. So you tape these 5 pieces together like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you have the sword template. And the reason why it's broken up like this is because pages are small, 8.5 by 11. And then now we're going to trace this onto foam board, and all you need is 1 sheet of foam board for this. And this is what you do. The template is clearly marked. See that B on there? B? You trace as far as the B, and that's 1 piece. And then you put it back on the foam board, and you trace the other side of the B, the rest of the sword. And you do the same thing with the A. There's also an A marked on that template. You trace 1/2 of the A, and then you trace the other half of the A. So you end up with 4 pieces that make up the sword, like that. An A and an A, and a B and a B. See? Now, and I'll show you why we do this, because foam board is only, the sword is longer than the foam board, so we have to assemble it together in a way that makes sense. So cut all those pieces out. And now let's glue them together. Put the A and the A side by side, and then you glue the B on top of it like this. And I'll show you a little bit of the gluing. And then the other B right on top like this. Now what happens is those pieces overlap. There's a seam there and a seam there. So now it actually goes together as a sword without falling apart. Now one thing, when you're gluing it together, see this section down here, the pommel, these 2 like teardrop shaped hoops? Don't put any glue on those when you're gluing the sword together that I just showed you, because you want to split that open and put the egg inside or the paper jewel inside. So leave the glue off of this section when you're gluing it together. Otherwise, glue the rest of it, just like this. So you put it together, the A and the A together, and then you put the B on, and I just glued the B where the handle is, and now I'm gluing the other B piece on, and that's it. And this sword. Now, the dragon pieces. Cut out those from the template. These make up the guard. And use glue stick if possible, and glue those down to foam board. That's actually, you've got enough foam board left over to do this. And then cut those pieces out. Now, because this makes a nice little overlapping section on the sword that I kind of like. And then you glue those on like this. See, those horns kind of are different than the pattern underneath, so it gives a little variation in the sword that looks kind of nice. And we're going to touch these dragons up. I give you those like just like that, like you see there, but you can actually paint those and add a little bit more. So go ahead and sand it all down nice and smooth, particularly the sides of the sword, just to get it the way you like it, nice and crisp, because it is metal. Now, you can paint this sword with regular paints and paintbrush, or you can use spray paint. If you're going to use spray paint, mask off some of it and paint the handle red. That's a nice cherry red that I picked. And you got to paint both sides around the same time, or else it'll warp. And then add the fuller in, or the blood groove, with a marker or a Sharpie. If you want, that's optional. Now you paint in between the horns and the handle black. And then touch up the dragons as you see fit. Well, maybe a little silver paint. And a gray paint, or a gray pencil, or a white pencil, or something like that, just to add the wrappings on the handle. So it looks like it's wrapped. Black leather. Now, there's two ways we're going to do this. And right now I'm painting it, but don't worry about painting it right now. We can do this egg that we cast in plastic, or you can do the paper egg. Like this, the paper jewel. And that's in the template. But let's do the egg first that we cast in plaster. Get yourself an egg, cast an easy cast, plastic. Get yourself an egg and carefully pierce a hole in the in one end of it. Like that. And see that tool I use? You know I'm a blacksmith when I use a railroad spike. And then stick a pin in there and scramble up the yolk a bit. And then get that egg out. You can actually punch a second hole in it if you want on the other end to allow air to get in, but avoid the second hole if you can. Just use one single hole, open it up a little bit more if you can, and get the egg out. Use a tool, a chopstick or something, and then clean it out. Run some water in it and rinse it out, the inside of that egg. And then dry it with a Q-tip like this. You know, dry the egg pretty good on the inside. Now, easy cast. This is a 2-part epoxy. It has a hardener and a resin. You mix equal parts, and I'm doing 2 eggs. And the color of your egg makes a difference. A couple of drops makes a big difference of the food coloring. You mix up equal parts, and you stir it up really well, like this. And then you add 1 drop of blue food coloring. That's it. That's what I did to make 2 eggs. So if you want a deeper richness and you want to make only 1 egg, 1 drop is going to give you a deeper blue, a lot deeper. We did one with 5 drops, and it was too much, too dark. We did one with 9 drops too, I think, and it was way too dark. So stir it up again, and then carefully pour it into your egg. That's it. Let it sit for the recommended period of time. I think we ended up doing like 5 or 6 eggs. But I think you can get away with like 8 or 10 hours. Otherwise, let it sit overnight. And then, now, this isn't an egg anymore. Don't worry about cracking it. It's hardened plastic in there. So a little bit of mine dripped so it gets stuck to the egg carton. That's okay. Let's tear that shell off. Look at that. And you'd be surprised. I wasn't sure this was going to work. But we did a bunch of them, and they all peel off pretty good. You know, with a little bit of effort sometimes. It's the skin on the inside that makes it peel off. So peel that egg right off and you get yourself a jewel. Look at that. Huh? Where else can you get something like that but right here? Looks pretty good. There's our jewel. Wow. All right. So this is what happens now. You want to mount it inside there. See why we didn't glue these 2 parts at the very end here where the pommel is. And of course, the egg is way too big. And I left it this way because I didn't know what size egg you were going to use. So try to fit it in there. Trim off the ends like this. And you can draw little dragon patterns on those if you want. Fit it in there and then draw some lines so where you're going to cut it. So draw a few lines. Say, I need to cut it here. And then cut it. Measure it again. So it's a nice fit. See, I'm going to draw some lines here. It needs to open up right here. And you can make these, what do they call, tines? Tines on the pommel. You can make those thinner, which is actually nicer. See, I made mine thinner. And then we're just about done here. So then you glue it in. I love this. This is just so different. You know, I never did anything like this before. This is a new technique. So glue it in and then paint that pommel. And you're pretty much done. If you do this, have fun and send me a picture. But if you don't want to do the easy cast plastic resin, you can do the paper jewel to go inside. You get that in the template. Now you can print up the template on blue paper. That would make it easy. But you don't want to do this with regular paper. You want to do this with something thicker, cereal box or index card paper. We have index card paper that's a nice powder blue here. So this is how we transfer the pattern. First, we traced it onto tracing paper like this. Right, with the pattern, and then we flipped it over. See, now that's got a lot of carbon or is it lead on that. Flipped it over and pressed it down so the pattern embedded itself onto our blue paper. And then cut it out. And then fold it up. That's what the little tabs are for, to glue. So have fun with this. The tabs go on the inside like this. There you go, on the inside. And then continue. Do those 2 tabs first for each piece. And then continue. Do the next 2 tabs and the next 2 tabs and fold it into your jewel. And that's it. Now if you use regular white paper or cereal box cardboard or something, paint it blue. It was just easier for us to use a nice shade of blue here. Well, we had the index card paper in this color. That's it. Tinker around with it. Get it just the way you want it. Then mount it right inside the tines. And you can trim those tines just like we did. Make them smaller, tinker with them a little bit so they fit. But it's a pretty good fit. We specifically measured the size of this jewel so it would fit pretty closely inside the tines that you get in the template. And then glue it in place. And that's it. You are done. You have made Zar'roc from Eragon. Send me a picture if you make this project. Leave me a suggestion. Leave a comment. Give me a thumbs up. And there you go. There's the sword. I love that pommel. That's just wonderful. I'm so happy that came out good. I'm thinking a little bit deeper blue would be good. Here you go. Thanks for watching my videos. Here's a couple more projects that you might like. Thank you very much. Let's make something.